All right, we live. All right, cool. Well, welcome everybody. Good evening. It's what's today? Thursday? Man, time goes by so fast. But this is
Right.
BowlDri Greg here. CoolZone chat with my friend Christopher McMillan, former Mckendree bowler, 900 global advisory staff member, recent graduate. Most importantly, he's from Buffalo, New York, home of the Bills, icy snow, chicken wings, you know it. So, Chris, thanks for joining us. He goes by CMAC, so just so
Mhm.
everyone knows. So, CMAC, thanks for joining us. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Thank you for having me.
Huh? Thanks for joining us. So, let's talk about you for a little bit, man. What got you into bowling?
Well, I started bowling young. Ever since I can remember, my mom was bowling. I pretty much grew up in the bowling alley. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember Volker's Lanes,
Member Volkers, yes,
Volker's, and it's still up, still running. And
yeah,
Ideal, which is now Kearns Avenue Bowling
yep,
Center.
yep.
Um, and ever since I was little, they even still have that same smell. Like it's nostalgic. But yeah, I actually didn't start bowling until maybe 9, 10, 10,
Mhm.
11. And that's actually when I moved to Georgia. So I lived in Buffalo all the way up until 2004. And I did like carpet bowling that freeway with the little rails
Right,
and everything.
right.
And again, my mom pretty much became family with those folks, and I was sick of just sitting there bowl, or watching them bowl, and I was like, "You should teach me how to bowl."
Uh-huh.
And it was like, "You want to learn how to bowl left-handed or right-handed?" And in hindsight, I think I should have chose right-handed. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
should have
left-handed. Sorry.
spelled left.
But I chose right-handed. But I think fate was like, because I started throwing the little backup ball.
Mhm.
And I was pretty damn good at it too, And my mom was like, "No turn of minus on the backup ball." So they had me in the black Robbies with the front and back.
Yep,
We had this with the three straps, and I was like, "Oh Lord!" And
gotta
they got
straighten that
me
whole thing out.
right, right. I couldn't do nothing. I felt like a robot.
Right.
And they got my ball roll straightened out, kind of, because then I went from throwing a backup ball to a spin top,
Hmm.
like a million miles an hour, and
Nice.
it was working for me.
Hey, but it wasn't the right way.
No, they said, we got to fix it. We got to fix that. We're gonna teach you how to hook it the right way. And fortunately, I was blessed to have so many OGs from
Okay.
Atlanta and Georgia that seen something that I didn't see, my mom didn't see just yet. And they helped me and worked with me on Friday nights after league and Saturday juniors. And my
Mhm.
mom actually coached. Um, it was called Suburban Lanes and in Decatur, Georgia. And
Okay.
some of the older kids, they would like rag on me because I was big for my age. So they was like, you shouldn't be bowling like that. And I was like, I'm just trying to have fun. I don't care what really happened. But
Right.
then I learned that you could win scholarship money. I was like, ah, all right then. So, I was getting tired of getting picked on. So I would, watch the pros. And this is when YouTube started getting popping.
Hmm.
And the pros, it seemed like it was a tournament every weekend. It was either live or like a pre-record. And I had knew that like Liz Johnson and Joe Ciccone and Jack Jurek were from Buffalo, and Brad Angelo were from
Hmm.
Buffalo, and
Right.
you would see them on TV all the time. And I was like, wow, my mom bowled with those people. I was like, oh, maybe I should take this, a little serious after all.
Hmm.
And I think I'm more of a visual learner myself.
Hmm.
I love to read, but I wouldn't say imitation, but if I see it the right way going on, I can kind of make it work for me.
Right.
And so YouTube was amazing because you could pause and rewind and slow motion, and that's where I really learned how to really hook the ball. And then two of my favorite old school idols, Wes Malott and Robert Smith. They were making TV shows quite a bit, and I was like, I want to do what they do. And with my little 13-pound plastic Brunswick zone, I don't think you could catch me right at like 25. And
with a plastic zone?
The plastic zone, a T-zone. And I was making that thing hook.
Nothing wrong with that.
On wood lane too.
Wood lane took anyway, so we all know that.
So I thought I was doing the thing until they put out just a little bit of oil, and I was like, oh Lord. And we gotta move right. And I was like, what's that? So they was like, okay, we think you need to get some reactive balls. And my mom was like, oh, he's too young. You don't need no strong balls. So they gave me a Tropical Storm.
Mm-hmm.
And once I got through that, they gave me an old Brunswick Power Groove.
Okay.
That's showing my age, right? And
OG Power Groove.
OG Power Groove. It was blue and red with the yellow, right? And I remember it vividly. And before that, I had, just this little Fred Flintstone spare ball.
Right.
With the single bag. And
hey, man, a single bag, man. You can't knock
that. So,
smell like golf balls, man. Those things were leather, though. They were leather, so they, they were hooked up.
It was in like my basement or something. And I had a couple growth spurts, so they was like, okay, well, you're strong. You don't, you can throw regular balls. So my mom would give me her old balls that, she kept in the bag or whatever, and I would just throw those. Fortunately, my hands were pretty much the size of hers. You just have to open the thumbs. And I started learning how to spare, but I wanted to strike more like every kid, So I would get frustrated. Exactly, the big hook, and everybody always tell me, oh, you gotta, learn how to move right. And, I was a bit of a brat, I was defiant, go tell me what I can and can't do. So, you know what? I'm gonna make this ball hook. And again, watching Wes Malott and Robert Smith, that's all they pretty much did on TV. They didn't teach me about patterns or, ball motion. All I knew was just throw the hook. And fast forward.
So wait. So your mom introduced you to the sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then time progresses. You get out of the backup ball. So now you're standing 25. You're left. You're watching the ball hook. You're young. Who else was there anyone else besides
watching that hook or not hook? Because I feel a lot of gutters too.
Right, definitely, for sure. This is you're a student of the game. You were a student of the game at that time. I think we still are. But was there anyone else in your life during that time who was instrumental in your bowling game?
But yeah, my mom was really good friends with a lot of the great, talented, phenomenal black bowlers in Atlanta, like Quantrell Green. She was, in my eyes, one of the best black women in the country. Tessa Dyson, who's actually from Rochester, but she moved to Atlanta long before we did. And Greg Black, he's one of the best amateur black bowlers I've ever seen. This guy throws a 300 with his eyes, and just watching them and them just wanting to share, what they've learned through the years, and they just seen them in me, running up to the foul line and just being excited to knock pins down. And I'm still really cool with all those people, even though I'm in Buffalo now. I'm really good friends with Quan's nephew, Leon Lucane from Detroit. And it's a great thing to see black bowlers lifting each other up and then just wanting to see the kids be better than them. So I would say my bowling family from Atlanta, plus my mom, were very instrumental in me becoming who I am now.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So when did you so now you're back in Buffalo, and the scene is definitely different in Buffalo than it is in the Georgia area.
Mhm.
How was that transition for you? When did you come back to Buffalo?
Excuse me. So we moved back to Buffalo in 2009.
Mhm.
Yeah, because my grandmother was sick and my mom was her caretaker. But I actually got into Buffalo Academy for Visual and Performing Arts. And one thing in New York, for example, because they have it in the Midwest too, is high school bowling. And I
Mhm.
always wanted to bowl in high school and get like the Letterman jacket and the
Yes.
patches and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, man.
Um, so I actually started taking bowling a lot more serious then
Mhm.
because I learned that you guys had to win in order to get those jackets and those patches and everything. So
Right.
I started bowling in a youth league at Airport Lanes,
Okay.
and there's a league that starts earlier than the youth league, and it's doubles. And I always noticed that like it was really good bowlers there, but not a whole lot, maybe like 20 to 25. And the youth league that I bowled in had maybe like 80 to 100 kids of all ages. And, I would go down and see, and I was like, well, what league is this? He was like, oh, this is the Junior Gold League. And I was like, well, what's Junior Gold? And they told me, about the sport shots and Junior Team USA and all that fun stuff. And I was like, what? That sounds like fun. So I knew I wasn't ready. So
Mhm.
I bowled that season out. And what's beautiful about those youth leagues were they were in halves. So you had the option to transfer to the Junior Gold League.
Mhm.
You needed a partner. So they actually gave me a partner. And I learned how to bowl on sport shots. And let me tell you, I think I averaged like 140.
Right. Right. I mean, sports shots will definitely humble you.
Yeah.
Uh, they will definitely humble you. You can go out and average 220 on a house shot and come and shoot sport and maybe average 180, 190.
Hmm.
And that's good. That's good, because a lot of people struggle on house, just trying to transition, ball speed and ball motion and hand positions and, having the right ball in your hand at the right time to try to conquer that pattern is vital.
Right.
So junior gold, man, that's huge. So how was your junior gold experience? Did you move through that, or where did you end up at?
So I learned that they gave out scholarships and there were different qualifiers for junior gold in that league. And I learned that you got a spot for either winning that league or winning a qualifier. And I was fortunate enough to win the league twice and a qualifier once. So that actually got my spots for 3 junior golds that I actually bowled in.
Okay.
Um, my first junior goal was Buffalo, which was a blessing. Um, the second one was Detroit. And then my last one was Chicago. And I'll say Chicago, I think, was my best finish and just the best experience altogether.
Right.
Um, I actually gave it a good run. I don't think I shot anything under like -10. I think I went even the first day,
Mhm.
-10 the second day, and I had an opportunity to make a run, but that was the junior gold. I don't know if a lot of people remember. The power had went out at Sawdust, and on top of it being crowded, they took one of the 5 games away for everybody. So
Oh,
no matter
wow.
where you were, yeah. So even like let's say you were at the Short House in Orland Park or whatever, instead of the
Mhm.
5 games, you got 4. So the last day was just 4, and it was humid. And I mean, it's not really an excuse. I ripped my thumb. Um, we live and we learn, and
Right.
we finished great. But what's really beautiful about that experience was it kind of gave me a little confidence, like, hey, I can really do this. I'm good, just like some of these guys and girls out here.
Mhm.
And that was actually when I was in college, uh, Chicago. So I ended up going to Erie Community College,
Okay.
and you had to stay youth for JUCO. So I
Right.
was 19 or 20. And then after Chicago, I decided to go adult. But I finished out JUCO, and that's actually where I was introduced to the McKendree bowling program.
Okay.
So that's actually why Chicago is
So
only called.
right. So before you go into McKendree, just can you outline for children or youth that are out there that have junior gold aspirations, what could they do to prepare themselves for that experience?
I think it's really important to know your fit in your ball. I think tape is very essential, but some people don't use tape. I myself didn't.
Yeah, I don't use tape.
And yeah, I mean it's really just a feel thing. But I know my thumb is so temperamental. But I think even if you have, I also use IT switch grip from interchangeable thumbs.
Yes.
I think I have 3 different sizes. One is super huge, just because like in the summertime, I might swell from like eating something, or and I have a really
Right.
small one, and then I have
Right.
like my comfortable regular one. So I think that's really important. If you can get either IT switch grips, or I think Ultimate has those switch grips too, or the Vice It's. That's
Right.
really important. Something else I'll say, don't worry about striking so much. One thing I've learned is it's a lot easier to get 9 than it is to strike. And also spares. Don't always think that you're going to strike. Even the easiest patterns on paper can be hard once you get out there. So
Right.
as long as you know, one, where you stand for those spares, especially the clusters, and 2, what you're looking at angle wise. I think. I'm sorry, I got my computer wants to restart. I have to choose a time. Okay, anyway, angles, yeah, and you know your angles. I think you'll be fine. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's
So
fine.
another thing, if you can practice on different patterns to prepare yourself, I would strongly encourage it. And ask questions. In bowling, no question is dumb. There's no such thing as a dumb question. If you don't know, you just simply don't know.
Right.
Information can be so here and there, especially just with accessibility. It's easy for information to fall through the cracks. A lot of us learn how to hook the ball first before we know why the ball hooks.
Right.
So
Right. Sure.
just learning just fundamentals and practicing, and just practice, even if it feels wrong, even if even if you throw, oh geez Louise, sorry, got another notification. Okay, sorry. So even if you throw 50 gutters and you get 1 strike, well, figure
Right.
out why that 1 strike worked, and try to imitate that. I wish I learned the fundamentals first, learned how to hook the ball. I have been playing catch up until college.
Right.
And I'm still going to catch up in certain aspects. And I wish I had asked the right questions. I asked a lot of questions, but I didn't ask the right ones. But I don't regret it. I embraced struggle. It was a fun ride. It still is.
Right.
So I
For
think
sure.
those are some of the things that kids that want to bowl in junior gold, and the more harder patterns and such, that's something that they should work on. Just asking questions, trying things out that don't work, and making sure you have a good fit.
Okay. And practice.
Oh, in practice, yes. In practice, yes.
Make sure you practice. So junior gold is an experience. You're in Chicago. And Mckendree is in Illinois, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So tell us how that whole thing unfolded.
So originally, I was going to go to University at Buffalo, which is kind of like the Harvard or Yale of Buffalo. I was going to do pre-med and also music performance. I'm a professional cellist. and tuba player. So don't ask me how I was going to do all that at this in bowl.
But
Yeah,
you went to an art school, so we were curious as to what your talent was. So
yeah. So I
that's
got
awesome.
instrumental music, and then I got a little bit of everything else short of dance. So I did a little bit of art, and I did a little communication. So like making videos and such. So that's where I kind of learned how to do like my ball videos through some of the projects that I did there. And it was a fun time, but I put bowling on the back burner. And that's another reason why I had to play catch up, because I didn't have that focus or that time like a lot of those other kids did, up until I decided to take bowling serious and had to make some lifestyle changes. So I bowled. Oh, I'm sorry, college. So I didn't end up getting into that college because even though I knew department heads and this vice president and this dean and that professor, I decided to take my SATs the day after prom. Yeah, no, kids, if you have the opportunity to take the SAT more than once, do that.
Yes.
So I didn't get into UB. I was crushed, heartbroken. That was my dream school. My mom was going there, so I was there anyway. I knew where everything was.
Right.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to go to UB one way or another. So I said, well, ECC is around the corner for me. I can commute. I can go there for free because I'm in state, and you might as well just go get your prereqs out of the way and bowl for ECC. ECC used to be a powerhouse, and they're still well respected. Kerm Helmer, pretty much the founder of college bowling, built college bowling from ECC. And it was kind of nostalgic. So I bowled a year there, and that's actually how I got introduced to Mckendree. I don't remember what year it was, but they had made the ladies made the TV show, I think a year before the guys, or they might have made it the same year. But that's when AJ Johnson had first got there, and that's kind of what put Mckendree on the map. Because at the time when AJ was younger, he was like the it kid, And I seen a guy that looked exactly like me, big, tall black guy, do it exactly like I used to, and although he throws it better than me, but I was like, one, I want to meet him, and two, I want to be him. And
what's his name?
His name is Darren Dunning. Shout out to Dunning. That's my dude.
Shout out
he
to
got me through a lot of rough nights at Mckendree. So at the time, I didn't know his name. Years later, I found him on Facebook, but I did some research, and it's so funny. Before Mckendree was on TV, I knew they had a bowling program. They also had marching band, and I was looking at different schools that had marching band scholarships, and Mckendree popped up, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. And then 6 years later, I'm sending a athlete inquiry form to Coach Dennis, who's the men's head coach, and Coach Brian, who's the director of the bowling program. And shortly, I think that the next season after Mckendree became runner-ups, I think they bowled against Robert Morris that year. The O'Keefes came in, and they kind of revamped the whole program. And I knew I had 3 seasons left of college bowling, but I wanted to put as much energy in my college career into Mckendree. So I decided to not pursue UB anymore, and I started to pursue Mckendree. And I went in as a transfer student. I graduated from Erie with a science degree, associates. And I said, well, you can do pre-med at Mckendree. They have that. So, and they also have band. So I got a band scholarship. I played tuba and double bass there. And fortunately, that was around the time where I was about to graduate ECC. So it was time for me to get my application in. And if you guys are wondering, especially kids that want to bowl for Mckendree, the application is free. I actually used to be an ambassador there. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message, and I can answer them to the best of my ability.
How can they reach you to shoot that message to you?
Okay, so on Instagram, I am CMAC Bowls. That's one word, CMAC Bowls. Look for the hair. I believe my account is open, so you just follow me. I pretty much follow almost everybody back. My inboxes are always open. I don't bite. On Facebook, you can find me at Christopher McMillan. Look for the hair. And again, same thing applies. Message me, hit me up. Talk about bowling, talk about Mckendree. I'm a foodie, so if you like to talk about food, I'm your guy.
Okay. All right, and all that stuff will be in the description below.
And
so
you can also
social media.
Yes. You can also find me on YouTube. I'm not as active on YouTube, but since I signed to 900 Global, it's an obligation of mine that I have to do ball videos. So I have 4 ball videos up. One is a 2-in-1. And I'm getting better at those. So if you guys have any constructive criticism, I'd love to hear it because it's something new for me still. And yeah, it was nerve-wracking.
All right. Well, you guys heard it. You know, all his information will be in the description box below. So you can reach him on Facebook, Instagram, watch his YouTube videos on 900 Global Balls that are fresh out on the market. So you're at Mckendree. The O'Keefes are there. You know, you're coming in. Did you have to come in redshirt, or did you have to wait? Like, what was that whole process, man? I'm excited to hear this, man. Bowling for Shannon O'Keefe and Brian. That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. Not a lot of people get that opportunity. I'm not saying that there's not other opportunities out there with great coaches, but that's Shannon's pretty tough.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So yeah, tell us about that.
So as I was wrapping up my time at Erie, I decided it would be best for me to withdraw from the team. I actually did coach a little bit, and then schedules and things happened, and I had to bow out gracefully from that. But I was learning about rules and such, and I learned that had I not decided to bow out from the team, that I would have had to redshirt once I got to Mckendree. And at the time, I was only supposed to be at Mckendree for 2 years because of my my program.
Right.
So when I took that year off, unbeknownst to me, that was actually my redshirt year. Yeah. So I went adult and I had bowled some leagues. My first big tournament was the Reed Hawthorne TMBA tournament in Wickliffe, Ohio.
Okay.
Really fun. Seen a lot of people that I knew and met a lot of new people also. But I ended up transferring to Mckendree that next year after graduation, and kind of jumped right in. We had a team barbecue. Some of the leadership on the guys' team got us together to the park just around the corner from Lebanon, which is where Mckendree is. Lebanon is about 25 minutes from St. Louis. It's right on the border of St. Louis and Missouri. So the weather was nice. We had our welcome back meeting, and we kind of got right into it. I learned a lot about how our program is run. We don't have tryouts per se. We don't call them tryouts. We call them data evaluations. And how that goes, we start out primarily with spares. And I think that year Shannon went to Worlds, and I think she won gold. It was in Columbia, I believe. So she came in late, but she ended up helping. And with 34 guys, it's a lot of data to collect. So we did spares first. And I believe we did 120 10 pins, 7 pins, 3 6-10s, which we don't do anymore. 2 4s and washouts. I'm sorry, we do the 3 6-10s. We don't do the washouts. Sorry, we don't do So while we're doing that, they pair us up with a returner, and a newcomer, and sometimes maybe 2, depending on the ratio. And that's just so they can learn how to mark spares. We don't at St. Clair Bowl, we don't have the machines that line up the specific pin. So how we do it, if you think about it, the width or circumference of a bowling ball is about 8 inches. So that gives you, for example, 10 pin. If you're shooting at the 10 pin, you can hit the 6 pin, but you can't, of course, hit the 3/16 because then you'll probably miss it. But they would like you to hit just the 10 pin, and you learn how to do that with angles and body position and things like that. For the 3/6 I know myself, I'm usually a little heavier on the 3/6 than the 6/10 myself. But if you hit the 10 pin, you don't make it. And there are so many times where you be like, "Oh, I could have made that," and the ball just kisses the head pin and it want to fall, and that counts against you. And that's just teaching you just how to have the right angles. I think I struggled the most on the 2s and the 3/6 and when you want to make spares, you see everybody next to you shooting at the spares and you're missing them. You start throwing it harder and harder and harder.
Yeah.
And with that, your accuracy gets worse and worse and worse. And I'm gonna be honest, I think I was gonna be like 70% on spares, which in college bowling is terrible. I think our team spare average was 96. And the girls, I think they were like at 99. They're always good at spares.
Gotcha, because they got slower ball speed too.
True. You kind of force it down the lane at 50 miles an hour.
Right. So what's so you're at McKendree, right? But what is your toughest spare to shoot? Even through going through all the McKendree drills, having that experience, what's your toughest spare to shoot?
Probably the bucket.
Okay. Bucket is tough.
Yeah,
6 count is tough. So it happened.
That's something I also want to talk about, spare ball, because I had a spare ball before McKendree or after urethane. But when I got to McKendree, I threw out my plastic ball completely. In hindsight, I think I should have kept it and just learned how to be more versatile with the balls I had. But
what made you dump the spare ball?
Well, a lot of the tournaments that we go to, you can only register 5 balls, including a spare ball.
Right.
And a lot of us, just didn't want to waste a spot in the bag with a spare ball, so we would use urethane. But then a lot of people don't have my rev rate. So it was hard a lot of times for me to break my wrist or just roll out. So I developed kind of like a dead knuckle backup ball, kind of like Mike Fagan or EJ. But sometimes I would still catch it a little bit. And when the heads are gone, or we're bowling on something that's low volume, or 34 to 38 feet, which in college bowling most of the times it is around that 38 to 42 range. Lane surfaces are different, and whether it was reactive or urethane, it would dig in a little bit. So I would miss it to the right because it would catch, or to overcompensate, I would overthrow it, miss it to the left. And that definitely brought my spare percentage down. So that was something that I was always working on, with the right hand position.
Right.
So, but I'm getting better now. I went back to plastic. Best decision I ever made.
Okay. All right, understood. So data evals, you're working through the program. You're getting used to the coaching styles of the individuals that are there. And you're getting used to the team. You're building team camaraderie, but not only the men's team, but I think the women's team as well. So you're in your college bowling career now here at McKendree. And what is that like? What's the McKendree way like for individuals who may be interested in going to McKendree to bowl, or just curious to know what it's like to be in that program?
So education starts as soon as the data evals start. So And to finish off about the data evals, we learn about how to play patterns too. We practice every day
Right.
while we're doing data eval. So one day we might pause a data eval to learn and practice about fundamentals. So we learn how to play, patterns. We bowl on 3 patterns, 9 games each. So that's also a piece of the data. And we also learn our PAPs, our positive access points. We learn how to develop axis rotation. Changing tilt is a little hard. It's rather actually challenging. So for some, the coaches would lower tilt in the middle of data eval, or tilt or add axis rotation. So we learn those specs about us. We learn our rev rates. And we also learn angles because in college bowling, angles are huge. And they can get pretty gnarly depending on how the patterns are broken down. So 2 things that kids that want to bowl in college, got some dust in my eye, sorry, should learn how to play the gutter. So whether that's taking all the hand out of your game and just learning how to get the ball to just stand up and shape, but also learning how to like slide into the left gutter and just sending it to the right gutter. Doesn't matter what the ball is doing at the moment, but you should just learn how to get it out there, push that ball out there, and everything in between. So the
Versatility.
Yeah,
versatility. Yeah.
So the Mckendree way, I think confidence is something that is learned and it's earned, and not everybody's born with it. Honestly, I didn't have a whole lot of confidence, even though I knew I was good. But to go to Mckendree, and I was fortunate to come in the year after we won our first national title. So we were kind of excited and pumped, and it's like, oh my god, yeah, this is we're here to stay. And they kept that momentum. One of the first things that they told us, it was like, okay, you guys won the national championship. That's not good enough. What's next? And I was like, well, what's next? What you mean what's next? So, our motto, it was, and I think it had been for the next couple of years to follow, was raise the bar, which means be better than you were the last tournament, the last shot, the last ball. And that's something that was ingrained and instilled in pretty much all of us. To hold ourselves accountable. Shannon is really big on accountability, and just being a good teammate. We practice together every day for 3 hours. Most of us all live amongst each other. We spend our downtime together. Mckendree is a fairly small school, so we have classes together too. So we have to learn how to. If not, you're not going to like everybody, but respect each other and know, we're out here to get another ring, we're trying to uphold the Mckendree dynasty, as we call it now. And that's something that I'm really thankful for and that I appreciate, because honestly, if I went anywhere else, I wouldn't have developed the confidence that I have now to not have any doubts. Shannon, they talk about it in a lot of her TV shows, how every shot is impressive and she doesn't spare any energy. And one thing that I remember from her is when she was like, if you're not exhausted by the end of your event, then you didn't do good enough. You didn't try hard enough. And that taught us to just leave it all out there. Don't have any doubts. And it's a learning experience. It's not going to happen overnight. You're going to learn yourself. You're going to learn how to keep yourself kind of even filter, not get too high on one, off of one shot. Don't get too down off of another. You're not going to win a tournament just by striking once in the third game, and you're not going to lose a tournament, hopefully, by flagging a 10-pin in the fourth game. So, and these are a lot of the things that I still hold dear to me in my heart, even 6 months after me graduating.
Hey man, that's the way. I mean, raising the bar is synonymous with so many things in life, not just bowling. So you can apply that to your everyday, and that's something to inspire others. Just something simple as saying, "Hey man, raise the bar." Like go for it. Don't be afraid to be great. Don't be afraid to push yourself. Don't be afraid to work out or wondering what people think about you. You know, go out there and do you, and have a great time doing it.
Have a great time.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's really awesome to
Thank you.
know that you had that experience, man. And so did you guys? So did you win anything? Like, you know, how did it all? How was the winning with Mckendree? Like, I know that had to be cool because you guys, you know, were in the spotlight for a while. Not only just the men's team, but the women's team as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So
like, what was that like walking into a bowling alley? You know, you're about to compete and you walking in with your purple on, you ready to go. You got the keys walking, you know, what y'all like, y'all think y'all can't be touched. Like, how was that feeling, man? Like, yo, like that's crazy.
So, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, it was an interesting feeling. My first year there, that was actually when the girls made history. They didn't win just only the NCAA national championships, but they won the ITRC just a week after that.
Right.
And the guys came in second that year to Weber.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, no matter what, we knew that we were a great team, you know, and there has to be a winner, there has to be a loser.
Right.
You know, nobody likes to lose, but you know, one thing about Mckendree, we just have class, you know, we see it for what it is and we learn from it and we become better. And we won the national championship the year after that when we came runner up. So one thing that it was a fun experience bowling and, you know, being noticed and just people asking, you know, how's Mckendree? But one thing that I always, it always kind of pulled at my heart was that there weren't too many other people that looked like me, that were in the shoes that I was in, that I'm in.
Right.
And I always wondered why, you know, going into tournaments, it was lovely to have on the purple and white. And to be noticed and that's Mckendree. And then there's me, the only black guy walking in with Mckendree's team and seeing all of my other friends that are going for other colleges. And, you know, I even got asked one time because I'm pretty much like a friend magnet. And people come to me and, you know, hey, what's up? And one of my friends is like, do you know every black guy here or black person here? I was like, pretty much, you know, there's not that many of us.
Right.
You know, so of course we're gonna know each other.
Exactly.
And, you know, I always wanted to see more, just more, you know, everybody, not necessarily black, but there should be more representation. So that was something that pulled at my heart all the time. But as for winning, you know, we won a lot, you know. I started out on JV2. And for a lot of people that don't know, Mckendree has 4 teams technically. So JV1, JV2, varsity, and then developmental. What's beautiful about our program, and I'm sure a lot of other big programs, we don't turn anybody away. We've had football players that were bowlers also. They didn't always come to every practice because they wore our shirts, our practice shirts and everything like that. So, and, you know, they just want to be better athletes, better bowlers, you know, and it was a fun time. So throughout my time at Mckendree, I moved up team after team after team. Excuse me. And I finished on varsity my senior year or my last season at Mckendree because I ended up coaching and I was still on the team roster the year I graduated. So through that time, I was on JV1 and I think we had the highest winning percentage of a JV team, which was great. You know, we didn't even really think about it. We had just this bond, and when we stepped in the lanes, things worked. You know, even when we bowled bad, it just didn't feel like we were bowling bad because we all had each other. You know, no matter if you know we were, you know, in the lineup or holding the clipboard or going to run, you know, and grab a ball 30 lanes down. You know, we all had each other.
Everyone had a role.
Yeah. And, you know, to me, that is more important than winning, you know, knowing that you have a brother or brothers or sisters behind you cheering you on no matter what. You know, I have one sister, I'm the baby, but I have 60 brothers, you know?
Right.
just because I graduated, that doesn't mean that I'm not a Bearcat. Brian and Shannon and Dennis, they're like parents. I
Hmm.
talk to Shannon quite frequently, and she's like, you're still my kid.
Right. Right.
So to me, that's more important than winning. Winning is a bonus, but there's always a winner for that same tournament the next year. But nobody can replace the family that you get when you're there.
Right. Yeah. 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 I hear that. Yeah. I hear that. It's not all about winning. Everybody's so focused on winning, doing this, doing that, which is fine. Everybody always focus on striking. Sparing is more important than striking any day. I think, we've said it plenty of times. You've heard it plenty of times. Spares win games. Spares win championships. Um, national championships and titles, and sweepers and everything else. So no, it's cool, man. Having a team, like you said, is much more important than winning. So that's pretty profound, man. I appreciate you sharing that. But the other part, like I'm curious about, because I bowled like for fun intramural in college, but I never got to chant, man. Like, what's that like? Like, were you guys really live, like chanting, or were you guys quiet and professional? Like, what was the team atmosphere like? Just to let us know.
Well, Mckendree is a little different. So as you know, Shannon played softball.
Okay.
And she was like, yeah, you guys don't play softball, so don't chant. So we didn't really have chants per se. They
Right.
love energy,
Uh-huh.
and I sing baritone opera, so volume is not an issue for me.
Okay.
So, I was the hype man. I was like DJ Khaled. Every time we struck, every time we spared, I was all about having a good time. That's all we wanted to do.
Right.
So, yeah, to other programs, we seem a little serious and just a little, yes, but like we're focused.
Right.
We have our fun on the bus, or, when we stop at McDonald's and get a, 4-piece, or, four from Wendy's.
Right.
Time and place. There's a time
Okay.
of celebration, and there's a
Okay.
time for knuckling down and being serious, because nobody wants to throw spares for a week. So
That was the punishment.
yeah, it was Wednesdays at McKinstry are for spares. On Wednesdays we were pink. On Wednesdays we throw spares. So that was a given. But when our percentages were low, we practiced on those percentages for the next tournament. And sometimes, we didn't have another tournament for another month. So you best be sure we were practicing something.
Okay.
Dennis was or is a stickler on posting your shot. Because he's like, where do you think you're going to know where the ball is going if you're focused on pulling up out of your shot and then looking like, oh, there's the ball, so.
Right. Fair enough.
And there were times where we had to get punished for not posting our shots. If one person didn't post their shot, the whole team had to stop and do 25 crunches or squats or push-ups or sit-ups. I did jumping jacks because I'm big. If I'm on the floor, I'm gonna be there for a minute. I'm like Shaq. I'm gonna lay there for a minute. But I remember vividly one of the big things that Dennis wanted me to work on was not hitting it. And if anybody knows me, and you guys will see my videos, I do not spare one single rev to you, but I've been working on it. But like Dennis was like, every time you hit it, the team has to stop and do sit-ups. And I was like, we just had workouts. We also work out like football players on CrossFit, like times 20. Tire flips, and I was like, who's already sore? And this is when Shannon had just switched to Hammer, and the girls' program had switched from Brunswick to Hammer. And so Ebonite had a demo, and they decided to stick around and let the guys throw some of the new balls that were coming out after we finished our spares. And of course, this happened to me. People always say I hit the grips out the ball anyway. I picked up this ball. I think it was a GB3 Pearl. And I get up, and I feel a beautiful shot. And all you hear is, and you see green finger inserts bouncing on the lanes. And I was like, of course he's seen it, of course. So during the ball demo, we all had to stop, and the girls are laughing at us. And, we're doing sit-ups and crunches and stuff. So discipline,
Discipline.
But, I think I still have nightmares about that day, but it's all right.
Well, that's cool, man. So you had this McKendree experience.
Mhm.
You know, you speak very highly of it, which is amazing. That's awesome. You know, I definitely understand where you're coming from. Is not seeing people that look like you on the lanes. You know I had that experience more so when I was in Virginia. You know, where there were a lot more African American bowlers, male and female, and other races as well. Just all having a good time bowling, which was great, you know. But then you see other parts of the world, you know, and even Buffalo, you know, where you know it's not as diverse as other places and
For
spaces
sure.
that you see. It's not a knock because we grew up in it. It's just a reality,
Yeah, it is what it is.
right? You know, and um, so it's cool, you know, to be an example for individuals, especially young black males and females who want to pursue bowling in higher education.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's cool. You know, shout out to you, shout out to Gigi. You know, she's making a move. Gigi Mason's making some moves.
Yeah.
You know, so shout out to her and to everyone else out in the bowling community that contributes to inspiring youth who just wants to throw the rock, man. That's awesome. You know, so speaking about throwing rocks, talk about 900 Global. How did that come? How did that come about for you?
So, I mentioned Darren Dunning in the past. We finally met in person. We have been friends on Facebook for years, and I just happened to come up to bowling at St. Clair on a Monday to get some balls or something. I seen Darren there. We met. We've been thick as thieves ever since. That's my big bro, and he was on 900 Global staff at the time. 900 Global is really big in the Midwest, specifically the Metro East area. So that's St. Louis and St. Clair County in Illinois, because they're kind of merged. So we were friends for a while, and you know, because of my rev rate, I really don't want to fight what I'm throwing. I want to be able to throw something and not have to worry about, oh my God, is it going to die 30 feet? You know, is it going to go too long? You know, am confident. And I ended up asking him, I was like, hey, you know, do you like global balls? How is it, you know, like being on global? He was like, have you ever thrown a global ball? And I was like, well, no, but you know, of course, everybody knows about the honey badger and old school, like the bank and the what other ball was that? The Prophet and the long shot, the bounty. Yup.
Yeah.
And those balls are great. So that's what I knew when I global. I knew they kind of fell off. You know, a lot of companies do when they try out new things. And I had knew Storm had recently acquired them, and Chris Barnes had signed with them and everything. And one thing led to another during winter break, and I ended up getting connected with Matt Gabansky, who designs these balls. Shout out to Matt. And I sent him my bowling resume and a couple of videos, even though I was kind of making a name for myself on social media already, just because of just how I throw it and who I was affiliated with. So he had seen my videos, and he's like, we'll be in touch. And there weren't any spots open. I was still a little wet behind the ears. I had to learn. I needed a little more experience. Did it suck? But that taught me to be a little more zealous and ambitious to want to be better, to get that opportunity. The second season came by, and he was like, I can't give you a contract, but try these balls out. Tried them out, and I was bowling really well, throwing it well. You know, I was like, these balls are pretty good. You know, I don't really have to do much to it. I was getting the length I needed. I was getting the mid lane read I needed, the controllableness, I don't know if that's a word, that I needed. Yeah, so I was like, okay, these are good. These are good. I'll stick with it. I bought a couple more balls, and that's when I got familiar with the Truth Tour, and that ball is like, that's my bread and butter. That's the ball I throw when I don't know what is going on.
Right.
At least I know I can get to the pocket with that ball. I don't know what it's going to do, but it's going to get to the pocket. I
For
have
sure.
3. I have one new in box that I just drilled, has like a couple balls on it. But my last semester or last year at McKendree, so this past year, sent him another message. I was like, hey, it's close to contract time. You want me to send my resume over, update it, and everything? He's like, yeah, go ahead. And I was a little nervous, but I was like, you know what? If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. One thing that I'm a firm believer in, what God has meant for you is for you. And I said, well, you know what? You can only try. I wasn't really looking at any other company. I was fine throwing what I had. But, I just wanted an opportunity to see if, I could do it. I had got the confidence I needed. My confidence is still growing. And so come December time, I was home and about to go home. It was final week.
Okay.
I was heading home a couple days after that. And I was in the live studying and I get a email from Matt and he's like, yeah, so I think I'm going to start you out on advisory. And here's a list of prices and everything. Let me know what you want to get and, welcome to Global. And I was like, oh my God, I did it.
Yeah,
So I ended up getting my balls a week before me leaving to go back to school. And I was like, I can't even drill nothing. So here I am loading undrilled balls on the train because I catch the train. Depending on where I frequent Chicago, so I catch the train. I fly to Chicago, and then I just take the train from Chicago to St. Louis, or I drive down with my best friend Angela. So got my stuff drilled there, and within I think because I didn't bowl league that much because of school, but I subbed in like 4 leagues. I shot my first 300 with the Honey Badger Extreme Pearl in February. And right around that time, I was throwing the global stuff. This is when the equilibrium, the volatility, and the money badgers and stuff had just came out, but then they kind of was like, surprise, we got some more stuff. So I was a little nervous. I was like, am I meant to throw this stuff? Like, do I feel comfortable? I don't know what I feel, but I'm a ride and see what happens. And I kind of had to take a look inside, and I was like, why are you nervous? Like, this stuff is good.
Yeah.
Let the stuff be good. And then I shot 300 and shooting 780, 760, 770. I was like, okay, yeah, this stuff is good. So now it hasn't even been a year. It's been 9 months since I've been on staff. And this stuff is amazing. I love the shoes. 3G shoes are great. Shout out to 3G. I love the apparel. Shout out to Cool Wick, my 900 Global T-shirt and everything. And the fan base and the staff members are warm and welcoming. One of my best friends, Jamie Wells from Texas, she's on global staff. Some of my best friends ever, Dakota Solanka, and from St. Ambrose in Indianapolis. Jalen Mosley was former on 900 Global. He's with Rotogrip now, but those guys, they believe in the young guys, and the OGs are welcoming. They want to teach us. They're this warm. That's the best thing I can say about Global's family.
So family, another sign of family for you.
Yeah, family. Their page on Facebook. And of course, Global isn't the biggest company. Global isn't an Ebonite or whatever. But I mean, we have great pro staffers, world staffers. We have Matt Russo. Congratulations to Matt. He won his PBA title. We have Stephanie Zavala, Daria, John Rash. Great people, great spokeswomen for the sport. Hopefully, we can get some more soon. As everybody knows, Global just moved from our factory in San Antonio to Utah. So they're being poured right in the same factory as Storm, right next to actually. And
No, go ahead. I was going to ask you have you been able to, I think you had a couple of videos where you've thrown some of the new balls that has came out of that facility. It was the HB Revival. And something else like what's your favorite one out of the new lineup?
Yes. So they wanted to let everyone know that they aren't Storm balls with global logos. They are separate companies. Just better technology to use. So with that, the balls have become better. Not saying that they weren't good before, but they're great now. So right before the shutdown, they did come out with the Eagle USA, the Badger Pink Fury, and the Booyah Pro.
Right.
I had to get my hands on at least two of those. So I was able to get the Booyah Pro and the Pink Fury. I love them both. I wish I could get a case of them just to have in my basement. But you never know how the universe might work out. So with the new line,
or they may come out, under a different name but the same ball.
So fingers crossed. November, something big is happening. We don't know what yet, but just be on the lookout. So with the new line, I actually haven't thrown the afterburners yet, just because I'm trying to figure out where they're going to necessarily fit for me. I have some balls that I haven't drilled yet that I think would fit to where I think I need them right now.
Right.
I have some more volatility torques that are on the way that I haven't drilled yet. I'm not a huge fan of big ASIM cores, just because I don't necessarily need them all the time. And they go sideways for me with my rev rate. So I kind of stick to the mid-level ASIMs. So that's why the Honey Badger just fit perfect in my bag. The Honey Badger Revival, you can think of it like the OG Honey Badger with teeth. It's a hybrid cover. So a lot of times where there was transition and they were hooking off of the pattern, but the mids were a little squirrely, I would see that the OG Honey Badger would kind of push a little bit. But I never really wanted to hit it with surface. It was good with surface, but that's not why I wanted that ball in my bag. So I always wondered, they should come out with a hybrid Honey Badger. So they tweaked it, they came out with the Money Badger and Extreme Pearl and everything. And I have an Extreme Pearl. I love it. But compared to the Revival, it's actually smoother. The Revival is something that I think, for me, I would use in transition when they do get wet dry. It doesn't necessarily matter if the fronts go. I think the ball will be better when the fronts go because it's like butter. And it reads the mid lanes and it picks up, where the Honey Badger, the OG Honey Badger left off. The core is slightly modified. The cover is just a little stronger. And because it has that hybrid cover, you don't have to worry about it going too long. So that's the ball that I would use probably like game 3 of league or like game 4 or 5 when they're starting to open up a little bit, but I don't want to go too weak. But that's actually not my favorite out of the line. I think my favorite would probably be the Aspect.
Okay. Benchmark ball.
Exactly. And I love strong symmetric solids. I can pretty much make them do whatever I need them to do shape-wise. And for me, they're the most versatile.
Right.
When I was throwing Storm with Mckendree, Storm and Roto, there would be no time where you didn't see the phase 2 in my hand. And not saying that they're similar, but I get the same need out of the Aspect that I would have gotten from the phase 2. The Aspect, just shape-wise, just from reminiscing about when I threw the phase 2 was a lot quicker. So it was actually, it was able to get down lane more or faster. It was a quicker response, solid compared to the Aspect. And I think the core is bigger too. I have to look again. But for me, once it gets off the pattern, it doesn't have that quitting shape. You know what I'm talking about?
Right. No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Stutters. It doesn't stutter. Even if I like mishit it or I might throw it a little too hard, because that cover is so responsive, and not the ball itself, but the cover and the core is so big, you can see it digging in and revving up. So I'm curious to see, because I haven't thrown it that much. because I haven't needed it that much in the sweepers that I've been bowling in.
Right.
I've been urethane a lot. I think when I get some mills out there, or when the lanes start to transition to where I need to ball up, I'll be fine.
Okay.
So for me, that ball is going to be really special.
Nice.
I am drilling up some torques soon. I might drill one like pin in the middle finger, and then a really high pin above the middle too. That's kind of just what I put on asymmetric pearls. Just
Right.
works for me. But yeah, so those 5 are something really special. I do like that the afterburners are just a tad more quicker than like your after darks. And I think I was talking to one of my OGs a couple of days ago about the afterburner, and he was really fond of the blue one because that one does seem a little slower response than the purple and black one.
Gotcha.
And I was like, I think I haven't thrown it, but what I've seen, it would be great for the house patterns that we bowl in here in Western New York. It's not the weakest ball, but it's not the quickest ball either.
Right. But it's strong though.
It is strong.
It's surprisingly strong.
Yeah.
Definitely surprisingly strong. And it reacts pretty nice to friction. It doesn't overreact.
Yes. Doesn't overreact, exactly.
Right. And honestly, like I am a 900 Global fan. Just 2 years ago, I had some bowling balls that I was trying to sell on the marketplace. And nobody wanted them because the drilling was really close to the pin. So how people get all weird about stuff like that when they're buying used equipment. So I kept it, plugged it, drilled it. It was a Truth and a Truth Pearl, and I can't say nothing but good things about those balls once I drilled them and put them in my hands, man. The confidence, the reaction, I can bowl, I can throw them on just about anything, and not have to worry about it quitting or things of that nature. So my favorite ball, 900 Global, is definitely the OG Truth. I have the aspect, but I have not been able to drill it. I had the HB Extremes, which are kind of similar to me to the Truth series, but just bigger. They just seem much bigger, a lot slower.
Did you ever get a chance to throw the Dream On? The Dream On hybrid? The Dream On?
I didn't hear you.
The Dream On. The OG Dream On, the purple one?
Nope.
That ball looks so good, and I wish I got one before because they came back, and then it was like, they made a small batch. I was like, crap.
Yeah, so I'm interested in throwing an afterburner. A friend of mine has the blue one, and it's like, man, I love that ball so much, especially for house shots. And I have the HB Revival, but I haven't been able to drill anything. So it's all right, man. I have, like I said, my extremes and my
Is bowling back in Virginia?
No, I'm in Syracuse now.
Oh, Syracuse. Okay.
Yeah, so we're back, but I only had one day of league, and I shot 297 with that Truth Pearl, game 3. So like it's, man, I don't know nothing. That Truth Pearl is amazing. I don't care what no one says. Truth Pearl, like those two balls are amazing. But it's cool to meet you, to know that you're a staffer, and to be able to express my excitement for you, and also the love for the same company. I know some people say you shouldn't be a brand loyalist, things of that nature, but if it works for you. So whatever people say about that, that's your opinion. You can have that, but I definitely like 900 Global equipment in my hand right now. So for sure. And I'm happy and happy for you to have that contract and be able to represent that brand, So, I live vicariously through you as a staffer, I'm like, that's my guy, So cool, man. Kudos to you.
Thank you.
So you're bowling, you've done all of these great things, we're about to close out the show. What's your future plan for bowling right now?
So Right now, I'm actually a part of a program called BowlU. And it's something that Rick Benoit and Brad Angelo, and also now Josh Nowak from 10 in the Pit Pro Shop have been, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of championing it. And it reached, Wichita was under the program for years, and most of those old school guys are pros now, guys and girls. And honestly, bowling is just a different way to look at bowling. It's more of a micro way to look at it, just a different perspective. So I'm learning about ball motion and things that I might have not asked the right questions about in the past that I'm learning about now. And even just physical and fundamental wise, I'm learning how to make this make sense to this.
Okay.
Again, not fighting the ball, letting the ball do the work, and letting what I do help.
Right.
So I'm doing that. I'm actually going for a session tomorrow. I should have some videos on social media, hopefully.
Okay.
So I'm doing that. Before coronavirus, I was saving up for team trials this year, but
Team USA trials.
Team USA trials. Life happens, so I'm pushing that to next year, and I just want to be a little bit more ready. I want to,
for sure,
learn more about BowlU and practice what they're preaching and what I preach now. So the only way to do that is to practice and get experience. So Natty Ice is having a couple tournaments, one in Geneseo, the COVID event in October.
Nice.
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
And then I'm planning on going to Cleveland for like a 4-man, just a Sunday teams tournament. Hopefully PNBA is still having their events. I know they moved the Hawthorne, but hopefully I can go do that.
Right.
I'm not going to make nationals this year just because there's some other obligations that I have with my job. I started a new job.
Okay, so, congratulations on that.
Thank you. I'm just going to do as many team, double, singles events on harder patterns in different places so I can learn just how to cope up here and over here with different environments so I can be prepared to bowl with and against the best of the best in team trials and just even in competition.
Right.
I don't feel like I have anything to prove. I just want to go have some fun. And if I make a little money while I'm doing it, so be it. But I just want to help share what I've learned and learn more, blend minds, if you will.
Right. Definitely. Cool. So here at BowlDri, we're got a lot going on, man. We're going to be in Virginia this weekend for Dougie Vision. Shout out to Dougie Vision. We have plans to go to Richmond to bowl Team TNBA Eastern. So if you're not a TNBA member, find your local rep and sign up to be a member of TNBA. It's a great association. We have more CoolZone chats coming up, with, ambassadors of the sport. And, we just want to thank you for joining us. We want to thank Bowlifi, Team Bowlifi, who we have a contract with. We want to thank everyone who's going to see this, everyone who supported BowlDri, bowldri.com, get your fan. We got one coming for you. Get your fan. Everyone says just a fan. Yeah, okay, we get that. But when you need a fan, you want to have the fan. You don't want to be, last 3 frames and you need to knock them all down, man. You start sweating and your fit's wrong. And that's when you need a BowlDri fan.
Especially when that hand dryer, on sexy or ain't always reliable. So
exactly. So check us out, www.bowldri.com. That Christopher, give them your social media one more time before we leave.
All right, you guys can find me on Instagram at CMACBowl, the CMACBOWLS, one word. Look for the hair. You can find me on Facebook at Christopher McMillan. I think it's the same picture. I don't know, but look for the hair. You can find me on YouTube at Christopher McMillan. I'm wearing a hat, so what, look. But yeah, so hit me up, follow me. I follow back pretty much everybody. If you have any questions about Mckendree or just bowling in general, if you want somebody that can relate, or just want to learn or just blend the minds, hit me up.
Hit him up, guys. Links in the description below. I'm BowlDri Greg. Check us out again, like I said, bowldri.com. Like us on Facebook, BowlDri Enterprises. Please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's BowlDri Greg. This is our first live on YouTube. So go out there and like this video and subscribe and hit CMAC up, for all your questions. So with that being said, thank everyone for joining us this evening. And for those who are going to watch this later, stay cool with BowlDri and have a good night.
Thank you.
Later.